Hi y'all. I'm back. It's been a minute. Um y'all just don't understand. Like me being behind this camera. It's like a little it's a little liberating because I've been wanting to make a video for a very long time. Y'all just don't understand. But life has gotten crazy in a good way, and I can see how it could be in a good way. From a certain perspective, you know, there has been a lot of tower moments. There's been like a lot of deaths, like even literally. I'm not a fan. It's not funny. That's not funny, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like some of them were literal, but the rest was like very transformative events that's happened. So it's been like a lot of lessons. And maybe y'all can relate to this as well if you've been following me and you've been resonating with me. I feel like, on a collective level, we all have had, you know, learning lessons in, our own little ways. And yeah, so I've been dealing with that. I've been going through like a lot of transformative energy up until the point where, I realized, I've been on a very spiritual journey. I've been like going through my spiritual awakening, which has finely tuned my abilities, very much so. My discernment is on point. I'm trusting myself when I feel something ain't right, it's something not right, and I'm trusting that. Um, I'm believing in my abilities, very much so, because, you know, I'm just in a different place. I've done a lot of self love work. There are still some things that, I am finally releasing. And it feels like my personal release, my personal purge is something that's just naturally happening because where I'm getting to, this is what I'm getting to and through. um, Recently, I had a Kundalini awakening, or you could say activation, and I'm like excited because I wasn't expecting it. But of course, you read about those things, like, and I was almost confused um with the difference between a spiritual awakening and a Kundalini awakening. I feel like, your spiritual awakening is like when you become aware and conscious of illusions. So you're kind of like waking up from that matrix. But a Kundalini experience is something completely different. For real. It's something so different. And I would say that my spiritual awakening has led up to my Kundalini awakening. And since I've had my Kundalini awakening, there's been a huge purge. And so that's probably why I'm in front of this camera, because prior to this experience, I used to play myself very small. I had a lot of insecurity still. No, Spirit said, no, you don't. Because I'm behind this camera. Like, I used to care about what people thought, what people think. And I just feel like that's probably me over empathizing with people, because I know how conscious I am to try to make people feel comfortable. Because I know it's people out here that don't give a damn about nobody's feelings, and I kind of allowed that fear, you can say, to kind of dictate my moves and, me even putting myself out there. Because, people are judgmental. I know, in all honesty, there has been times where, especially a long time ago, and I feel like, I was judgmental, but it was like more so like, and it was probably because of insecurities, like certain things would make me feel uncomfortable about people. Sometimes, like, I would crack a joke. Like, sometimes they be funny, sometimes you be trying to find the humor, but that comes, the humor in things. Let me finish. But that comes from, insecurity when, like, you talk about somebody's appearance, even if it is funny. Like, I saw a meme the other day, talking about, what's his name? Jacquees, yeah. Like, I don't be knowing nobody's name. Don't judge me. But yeah, Jacquees, he's a singer, for those who don't know. And, he has like a very big smile, much like mine. But he was with this lady in this meme that had a very big smile. And the meme said, if they had kids together or something like that, their kids are gonna have like a strong bite. That was funny, but why would you say that? Like, they had beautiful smiles, they were big and bright. So like, why would you say that? Like, people nowadays be finding every which way to roast somebody, like, and it be funny though, like, like, I can honestly say that I haven't been a target to be roasted, but sometimes, being in that experience where, you roasting somebody, oh, don't think that you're not about to get roasted back, so, like, I see you, but I ain't gonna say nothing, like, I'm accepting of people's, it ain't like I don't notice it, but I'm accepting of people's, differences. So, I kind of like allowed that because I know how Facebook and even, YouTube, how people are. I've read some of the comments and like, people is like merciless. They show no mercy at all. Like, they be going in. And like, for those who are already in the spotlight on YouTube, I commend y'all, because that's a lot of eyes on you. That's a lot of eyes on you, and you have to have like a strong backbone in order to do stuff like that. Because, if you're not secure within yourself, you're subjected to change yourself for any and everybody, even though you may find yourself fine. And it may be some things that you're not comfortable with yourself, but it's who you are, and you've grown accepting of it. So, I mean, it's nothing to accept. I mean, it's who you are, so I know how people are. People can be like, get her, or, like, how people are. So yeah, I just, in my own personal life, I've allowed people to change my opinion about myself. And, I feel like at one point I was trying to gain acceptance of people, by watching what I said, making sure that I was like unnoticeable. Like, I didn't start no pools, that I didn't, catch, set fire to things, I just like stayed in the background, mind my business, head down. Like, you not about to get me. But, I've allowed people to like really change my thoughts of myself, because me personally, I don't like conflict. I'm like a very peaceful person, and like, when we have to go there, Especially if you want to talk about somebody, we're going to end up fighting because I'm going to say something that you most definitely don't like. I know me. I've always like had that um, ability to like really get them, like really hit below the belt and then some, like I go there and be like, what you mad for? We playing, AB. We playing. You want to go there? Let's go there. Like I pull out the arsenal. I'm like, boom, 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 and that. And don't forget about your mama. You know how your mama is. That's why your mama ain't never. I go into it. You know, then I take it to a spiritual level. Like start reading their life. I've done it before, and it doesn't feel good. So it doesn't feel good at all. It doesn't feel good to even have to do that. Because we don't have to go there. But I ain't walk. I've learned to back down from some fights through this experience. I've learned to back down because, like, whoa, buddy, you just don't know. Like, and I'll be telling people. That's why I be so mad because, like, you just don't know. So I repress a lot of my voice because of other people, and it sent me into a depression. Honestly, like I've been depressed for a very long time, and I can honestly admit that even though I was trying to be happy, trying to find my way, trying to figure out me and my purpose, it was a challenge because what I thought I wanted, it wasn't what I wanted for real, because I was basing it upon, people's views, of what it takes to make someone happy. So I was like, even though I wasn't materialistic, I allowed the materialistic stuff to affect me a lot. And so through my spiritual awakening, a lot was taken from me. A lot was taken from me. Like, and it almost came across like, and that was my fears, like, it coming across as not taking responsibility. And that's been my fears. Like, I'm gonna take responsibility because I feel like, even in this journey, like I took responsibility. The one thing that I could take responsibility for was my spiritual journey, because this is what matters the most to me ever in life. My spiritual well-being is what matters the most to me. Like, and I set that in my mind once I started this spiritual journey, that I would keep going and keep going and keep going until I got my answers. Why am I here? Who am I? I know this ain't me because this ain't even what I'm happy doing, but it could make me happy because it looked like, that's the thing to do. I like helping people, so why not be a nurse? At first it was a doctor, but now I was like, no, I'm gonna, do a nurse because it's a lot quicker. I don't like school like that. So it was already programmed that in order to be happy, you have to go to school to get a degree. I've been in school, let me tell you. I've been in school for a long time. And for as long as I've been in school, I should have a master's, or even more. But guess what? I don't. I should be like working on my doctoral or whatever it's called right now. But no. No, nope. Guess what? I don't have any degrees. I have 2 certificates in the medical field, which I thought I was going to be happy doing. But even then, like, I wasn't happy, even though I was, because, it's pretty cool stuff to, about the human body and helping people in that sense, but it wasn't for me, and I tried the administrative side of the medical field. That was cool. I got to mind my own business. I didn't have to deal with people, in a sense, in that sense, like hands on, because at that time, I was an empath and I didn't know it. So being around people, and especially in that state, like, oh my God, I'm afraid to work on this person. Like, I was nervous around people because, not knowing these people were nervous to be at the doctor. Who want to be at the doctor? You know, now that I'm looking at it, like, for real, who want to really be at the doctor? Like, people fear doctors. So, like, why would I want to be a doctor? You had to help people, but how am I helping people for real? I'm helping them according to, you know, pharmaceutical companies, according to government standards, according to this set system of study, you know, and the system really doesn't have a cure. So, like, why? Like, that was my thinking behind it, not for real, but for real, like, deep down in my heart. Like, I always knew that it was another way, school ain't it. I'm gonna be a healer still. Like, I was still on those lines of I'm gonna be a healer. Even then I didn't know how freaking amazing I am. Freaking amazing. I didn't know. So I set, on this spiritual journey through Christianity. I know this is gonna be a long story. We like already 16 minutes in, but I got a story to tell. And if you still here, obviously you're interested in hearing it. If you clicked off a long time ago and you can't hear me because you're not watching the video anymore, you hear me telepathically, it's okay. I don't care. Okay? Go on with your business. Anyway, so, long story short, spiritual journey, me and my twin flame, boom, Kundalini awakening. And, it was a story with my twin flame, yeah. I mean, too, but I'm not ready to tell that story just yet. Because, Lord Jesus, that, like, destroyed every sense of my being. Like, I rebuilt myself into my true self. Because when I met my twin flame, I wasn't really being my true self. I wasn't happy. I was depressed because I was repressing myself. And now I'm coming out of that depression greatly. Like, I understand, like, a lot of times people deal with that depression, especially when they're afraid to speak up, to use their voice, to say how they really feel, or repressing whatever type of emotions that they're holding on to. Me personally, it was my insecurities to use my voice. Like, I had childhood traumas with that, like, I was afraid to speak up. I always spoke so quietly, and that's just how I naturally speak, and I was made to feel bad, like, to speak up. Speak. My dad used to yell at me, speak up, they can't hear you. Like, he used to embarrass me. So, like, I thank him for that experience, because now I do speak up. And now I know how to project my voice when I need to. I don't have to talk so quiet. But I was just so relaxed. And it wasn't because I was afraid to talk. Sometimes I would be afraid that I was afraid to, like, say something. Because what I would say would just, like, blow people's minds. And I was like, it was like a lot. Like, people's responses sometimes was like a lot when I really said something. Because I be saying some stuff. People be listening. So I don't be like want to be wrong sometimes. So, yeah. So Kundalini experience, I like felt a electricity through my body, like, that day, and maybe like a few days, like almost a week prior to this. Like, I was having pains in my physical body. But I did travel. I was on the road for a while, so I didn't think of anything. Like, I had a pain in my tailbone and in my right knee. And I felt like it was because I was in a car. Well, no, I wasn't in a car. I was in a vehicle. I was on the bus, okay? I was on the bus. Look. The reason why, because, like, that is, like, no way to travel. For real, that is no way to travel like that. But no, it is. It's just an experience. I like riding the bus. I do. But it's just, like, overwhelming. It's overwhelming. So That's another thing, yeah. So my tailbone was hurting so bad that you know, I was like, oh my God, my tailbone hurting. So on my return destination, I was having the same experiences with my tailbone and my knee. And I spoke to one of my really good friends who is very spiritual as well. Shout out, Like, I was explaining to her what it was, and she spiritually looked up the symptoms of, the emotional and mental reasons for, you know, my ailment, my tailbone hurting. And through that experience, I realized Spirit was telling me that I need to trust. Because it said that there was a fear. If your tailbone hurts, there's a fear that, you're not being taken. You're not gonna something about your independence and not being taken care of, or you want to admit that you want to be taken care of. And my stability through this spiritual awakening has been very, very off kiltered. Like, there was a point in my life where I was very stable. Through this spiritual awakening, this has been the most unstable that I've ever been in my life. And I feel like my homes are taken away from me once again, because I placed a lot of value into appearances of things. So I experienced homelessness through this experience. I've experienced, you know, moving back and forth to different places, a lot of instability in my relationships with people. It felt like I was running from something but just didn't know what. So I could most definitely see that. Like, so I admitted to myself, yeah, I want to be taken care of, and I've always placed my faith in a higher power. As I was saying before, like, can't nobody ever take me from my path. Not nothing or anything or anyone can never make me like not follow my path at all. I don't care if they say that I'm wicked. I hear people's thoughts. I'm at a place where I'm hearing people's thoughts, and I heard wicked. I heard wicked because I want to liberate myself. You calling me wicked because of my beliefs, because of my practices. Let's just say that, because you don't know my beliefs. Because of my practices and because of your beliefs, this is what I'm saying. Like, when I go there with people, and I know that this person is watching this video. I know, because Spirit already said it, it's not for anyone to judge anyone. Especially let's just categorize it for, all Christians who believe, you're going down the right path. You probably are going down the right path for you, but that's not for me. I've been very devoted, even in Christianity, and I have not felt anything ever move me like I'm being moved now. And you might want to know what my spiritual beliefs are. My spiritual beliefs are spirituality, and certain practices. Like, I adopt my practices from a little bit of everything, because I feel like I'm a little bit of everything. Even Christianity. I feel like I'm a little bit of everything. I mean, I'm one. I feel like I'm one with all. So I'm going to make it all work. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to limit myself. I got choices out here. So what I'm saying is real, though. I got choices out here. So, I feel like, especially those with, Christians who believe, you're not going down the right path, because they said the way to hell is, what is it, wide and plenty or something like that, but there's only one real way. Why would you limit yourself like that? Why would you allow a God who is infinite limit you, or feel like you're being limited by a God who is infinite? Tell me how. Tell me how. Can you just like say that your God is infinite, but the path is, narrow? It's a narrow path, How are you, where are your bases for this? Like, is it, your practices? Is it, what is it? Because if that's the case, then you then already fell off. Let's talk about it. You didn't already fell off, because I know you're not following that narrow path. I know, some people dealing with sexual sin. But you covered. You covered by the blood. So if you covered by the blood, then I'm covered by the blood too. Let's make it fair. Because what you doing is wicked. you allowing several spirits in your temple. And you know it. You know it. You possibly can't be feeling good about yourself right now. And that's real. You possibly can't be. You're not happy. But we just speaking of this one particular sin. Sin, because it is. Because you're polluting your temple. You're not happy. You got a hell of a lot of spirits that you dealing with that you don't even know. It ain't yours, but it's a part of you now. Can I get an amen? I mean, you did a physical act. You opened doors too. You opened a very important door. Your vagina is everything. Your vagina is everything. That's a portal where you birthing stuff. Even in a spiritual sense, you birthing things. And you being spiritually reckless with your energy. So you don't know what you birthing. You birthing confusion. You probably birthing pornography. They say that pornography is a sin. What you birthing? Oh, but it's, normal to satisfy your sexual needs. Is it? Yeah. And you're sinning while you're doing it because you're not married. Doesn't your book say that? Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. Back to the Kundalini awakening. My bad. See? I was just say, Spirit said, cut it. Cut it. Yeah, Spirit said, cut it. You're going too deep down. It's time to pull it back. So back to the Kundalini awakening. Yeah, my phone died. My phone died. And I was really trying to avoid not editing this video. But I'm gonna have to like paste it together because I ain't done talking yet. So this Kundalini awakening. And by the way, if by the time, like, if you're still watching it, obviously, like I said, you're finding this interesting. But if you want to hear me out anyway, and you're like, I don't get it, if you don't have any humor, then I'm not for you. If you can't laugh a little bit, I'm not for you. It's a time to laugh. We don't have to always be serious about the spiritual experience because, from a higher perspective, this is funny. This experience is funny. Like, are you serious? It's like one of those things, like, I just find the humor in it. I find the irony in it. All the spiritual experience, which I probably will make more videos on, but we're trying to get through this Kundalini awakening. So it's a lot to this story, but we're going to go through this experience. So when I returned from my trip, my tailbone was hurting, and my friend, she sent me some information about what it could mean when certain parts hurt. So with the tailbone, I explained that, I had to admit that, I wanted to be taken care of. And I've always rebelled with that. Like, I hate to be taken care of. I hate it. So it's almost like myself acting out like, yeah, I want it, but no, I don't deserve it. Type of thing. So, I got these earbuds in. I hope y'all can hear me. I hope I'm talking loud enough because my phone's charging. So, yeah. I'm trying to remember now. Okay. I didn't talk so much around the subject. I forgot what we were talking about. Okay. For the fifth time. No, just playing. I know y'all trying to help me out there. I just can't right now. So moving forward. Yeah. She also sent me one about my knee. And it said that showed an inflexibility with things. When there's a better way, there's, an inflexibility with, moving on certain things and allowing things to do what it needs to do. So I got the message that, Spirit was pretty much saying, I'll take care of you. You just got to stop doing things the way that you want to do it. And from that conversation with Spirit, because I'm like, that's another thing about my spiritual journey. Like, I'm so in love with my spiritual journey because the spiritual world is real. Spirit is real. God is real. Consciousness is real. Whatever you want to call it is real. Like spirit moves. And I just leave it at spirit because God is spirit. I don't know. I can't call God any longer because God is so omnipresent. How do you say it? Omnipotent or something like that. God is everything. God is the good and the bad that happens. Like, God gets all the glory, for real. Like, everything is from a spiritual intelligence that's working for your good, as it says. Everything is working for your good, even the bad. So, whatever I gotta go through to, even the bad, I'm thankful, in hindsight. But yeah, so I realized, I had to surrender, and I told Spirit, I trust you. And I started purging. Like, certain thoughts started coming to me. I felt like I was about to die. Like, my heart was racing. I was anxious. It was like, what is going on? I'm having a panic attack. And then, like, my friend was like, what is wrong with you? Because she's spiritual. I have another friend, super spiritual too. Like, what is wrong with you? You pulling me into a portal? Are you using mind control on me? I'm like, no, I don't think I am. Am I? So she's like in my energy. She's all in my energy and telling me what Spirit is saying. I hear you. Like, she told me Spirit heard me, X, Y, and Z. And she was like, I guess, like, I don't know how she got pulled into my energy, but she got pulled in. And as she was speaking to me, what she was saying, I was confirming with her because I was like, that's exactly what I'm telling Spirit now. Like, in this experience with this anxiety, I'm talking to Spirit like, I trust you. Yeah, I do see how, I'm relying on myself. Like, just having these moments of self realization, where it's always been me in every situation, even when it comes to, me pointing fingers, it's always been me. I saw myself. I got the picture. Like, because they say you attract what you are. And so as I started seeing myself, like my insecurities, and even that's how I came to this realization about, me being aware of people's judgments and, the status that I try to put myself at according to my standards and, this world standards, or let's just say this society's standards, you know, um, I allowed that to make me insecure. So I started seeing myself and I started seeing my insecurities. And, she's talking to me. Like, all of this is going on at once. Like, it was like spirit was talking to me. And I've noticed is like for those who have been through a Kundalini awakening, may relate to this very experience. Like, downloads are coming in and then boom. Like, I didn't have no idea. Like, I was not ready for it. I was just like, whoa. Like, I kind of like tensed up a little bit. Like, whoa. I felt like I was stuck. And I felt like a surge going through my body. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? Like, the bottom of my feet were hot. Like, I felt like almost like a intense fire, heat, vibration. Like, I was like being, spiritually electrified. Like, it was just like on some Dragon Ball Z type stuff. That portal that be like, over them. And, that's what it felt like. It was like, it was like a power up. For real, it was a power up. So yeah, I was like twitching, like my muscles were twitching. And then I just felt like overwhelming sense of like, this is it. I felt fulfillment in that moment. It was like, I did it. Like, this is it. Like, I don't know why I said I did it. Like, like this is it. But I'm being raw and honest. That's what it's finally here. Because I realized what it was. And I was just like so proud of myself. Like, and I do say proud, but it was like, that's the wrong choice of words. It wasn't a sense of pride. It was a sense of achievement. Like, no. Fulfillment. It was a sense of fulfillment. Like, this is it. This is, what I've been waiting for almost, it feels like. Because I put in a lot of hard work. And, I was putting in hard work for, freedom, for liberation, for my ascension process, for, my enlightenment. So, I put in a lot of work. So afterwards, and it hasn't been that many days since. It's been maybe a little bit over a week. I've noticed that I've been purging a lot. And it's been heavy. It's been very heavy. That's where that depression has really started to come up. And it's been moments where I would just have like almost mental breakdowns. Like, oh my God. Like, I started realizing like, I was better off before I started this journey. I should have never, went down this journey. They say once you go through the rabbit hole, you lose yourself. And I did lose myself. But I will say this. Upon losing yourself, you find your true self. Who you are really, truly are. Deep down within, your darkness, your shadows. Because a lot of people are trying to hide from who they truly are by putting on, society's standards. But I realized like I was playing myself small a lot. Like I said, even with the videos, like I stopped doing videos for a while for my spiritual healing, but I almost feel like, what I had to say didn't matter, but it don't matter. Like I feel like it affected me a lot because I feel like this is like one of my dreams to like really be a YouTuber. So like when things were not panning out how I imagined for it to do, like I just felt like it was gonna be like an uprising, and it hasn't been like that. So I got a little discouraged, and I allowed it to quiet me. So I've been repressing my voice and my personality for a long time, you know, with everybody, because I have a lot of personality. Like I don't know if you've seen some of my videos, but I don't even know. I probably have spoken about it. Like when I'm by myself, like I shine. Like I feel like I'm the funniest person ever, and only my very close friends know. You know, I'm always lighthearted. I'm always trying to crack a joke, or not a lot of people know the real me. And I've been like repressing that part of myself, being silly, because that feeling like, dang, did I make people laugh? Like it feels good to make people laugh. That's how class clowns are born. And I probably would have been one. Probably. But anyway. So yeah, purged. And it's almost like now, this point of the journey, because of the hard work that I really put in to like face my fears. It wasn't easy. But it was. Because I just did it. It was scary though. I feel like spirit is honoring me and allowing just whatever needs to come out, through a purge. Like releasing, crying. Like, and it's accelerating. It's intense. Because there's been like some thoughts that had to come up, about, the depression, the depression had to come up. And I had to acknowledge it for what it really was, where the depression stemmed from. And I found out it's through a beautiful person on Facebook who wrote a post about what depression really was. They said that it was in short term, like a shorter way of saying it. It was repression of emotions, and as I took it, your true authentic self, repressing some part of you. And I totally agree. When someone is depressed, it's probably because they're not being truly who they are, or a lot of judgments. Something they're holding on to, some type of traumatic event or words, or they're not being their true self. So I learned that, and I see that, and so I felt pushed. Like I said at the beginning, I felt pushed to do this video because it's like, once your Kundalini experience happened, it's like you have to face the music. Life will no longer wait for you. What you are meant to do, you're going to do it. So here I am, and that was, my Kundalini experience. I may go back and talk about it again because, it wasn't a lot of details. It was just like a sharing, and I shared my experience because because I had to, as I've been sitting on a lot for way too long, and I'm making myself miserable, because I was, like I said, my spiritual journey was extremely hard, not only because I was making it hard, because I was repressing myself from being my true self, for having a voice, for speaking up for myself, for being smart mouth, for being funny. I didn't want to be those things because those things got you attention. Sometimes, like, if it's too controversial, people get mad. I'm a lover. I don't want nobody. We ain't gotta get mad, folks. But I know it's gonna be some mad folks anyway. So, people always got something to say. And I don't care no more. I don't care. You can mind your business. And if you still want to mind mine, you're more than welcome to. But, you get no love. You get no energy from me. You feel me? I'm going to laugh because it's funny. Because I'm happy. I am. I'm happy. I can honestly say that I'm finding my happiness. I'm finding myself like, ugh, that's ugly to say. But it's real, though. A lot of people are, they don't know themselves. Some people have stronger foundations. And this was probably a part of my journey to break generational curses, because I found out some stuff about, my family on both sides, when it comes to the baby girls. And I am the baby girl, and I'm hearing now, like, a lot of the same patterns that both of my, aunts have on both sides, and I'm breaking that. And I'm happy to say that. I'm going a different route. Even though they're both phenomenal women. But it's just certain, hindrances to our bloodline from us being, given with, let me say, for us achieving our birthright. Because, we're supposed to be rich, in every sense. We're supposed to have abundance wherever we go. Abundance is supposed to follow us, and because, there are some generational curses, especially, on both sides, I was like fighting both, That's why I said I made it a struggle, and it didn't have, and it wasn't, and it didn't have to be, and it was, everything was meant for whatever reason, like even a struggle, because in a natural sense, when you go through a struggle, you're gonna either get washed up or you're gonna fight, and you're gonna keep on fighting and realize like that don't work, don't, exhausting every avenue until you realize that ain't none of it gonna work from a logical standpoint, and then you're gonna have to surrender and trust in the spirit, and that's when spirit gonna take over, and all will be healed. I probably didn't have to, do the work, but it's ingrained in my mind. Show yourself approved, and that's what I did. So spirit was like, I got you. Good job. You can rest. You tired yet? You tired? I got you. So I'm blessed. I'm bliss. I'm bliss. So that's it, y'all. I hope you found some useful energy in what I'm saying, or just like can relate to what I'm saying, or if not relate, just feel me at some points. That's relating. You get what I'm saying. So until next time, you guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been nothing but a pleasure. You know what? This whole video, I gotta say this before I go. It looked like, here I go. It looked like, I'm like on like disguised out. Well, yeah, it looked like I'm disguised out. I was like, I look like I'm on a stakeout, but we're not gonna say that because there's some people out here who, be swearing everybody an Asian. I ain't no Asian, and I'm gonna say that now. You ain't gonna put that on me. For real. But if you said you ain't an Asian, that don't mean that you're not. Whatever. I look like I'm on I'm just like, I'm under disguise. Like, I'm like afraid of the paparazzi. I got these glasses, the hood, long hair. I ain't fooling nobody. Anyway, all right, y'all. Till next time.